Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be planting a little bit of everything. We're going to first plant one of the brand new varieties of shrubs that just showed up. We're going to plant an evergreen, some annuals. I guess that leaves perennials out, but the day is young and I'm hoping to get more than one area done today. We are going to start things off with a brand new variety of hydrangea out this year called Powerball. It's a new type of paniculata hydrangea. The blooms come out this really pretty limey green, and then they quickly transition to bright white, and then they transition into pink colors for fall. Oh, I think it's going to be such a pretty look in this flower bed. And I think having them sort of ringing around this trio of Royal Frost birch trees will kind of seem formal-ish without being a hedge, if that makes sense. Because this variety, it'll grow 3 to 6 feet tall and wide, and I don't care what size they stay. I don't need them to touch. I don't need them to be a complete ring. In fact, I kind of hope that they're going to stay a little bit more separate. And we can maintain that by pruning them down a little bit harder maybe than we would normally if we were wanting them to touch in the end. But even so, I think I've got them roughly spaced about 6 feet apart. So they should, if they get to the full size, should maybe barely touch. Of all types of hydrangeas, panicle type hydrangeas do the best for us here in high desert, Eastern Oregon, high pH soil territory. They just thrive, and we can put them in full-on sun, which is what these are going to get all day long until these birch trees grow up and create a canopy, and they will just look beautiful. They're a zone 3 through 8, and they bloom on new wood, which is really good if you've got severe winters or if you have deer pressure in your garden. Some of the other types of hydrangeas, like maybe a type of macrophylla or serrata, the ones that bloom on just old wood, if you've got deer pressure and they come and eat, your shrub at the wrong time, they could possibly eat the buds off and then you won't get any flowers. Or if your plants sustain winter damage and you lose branches from the previous year, then that could eliminate the amount of flowers or reduce the amount of flowers that you get in your current growing season. There's a lot of those types though now that will bloom on old wood and new wood. So keep that in mind. But for me, the peace of mind that these will just bloom on new wood is kind of nice. Okay, so that's what we're gonna start with here. But that is not where we're gonna stop with this. We are gonna continue on in this bed. As you pan to the right, you can see the beautiful formal flower garden, all mulched and looking beautiful. And you can also see that our flower bed does a weird wedge right here, and it gets very severe toward the end. I would like to have some type of winter interest that doesn't get enormous right here that is blue. Enter the Monty Blue Spruce. Grows 8 feet tall by 6 feet wide. It's just a cute little bright blue, very icy blue evergreen. Let me see the other stats here. It says it's the perfectly proportioned dwarf Colorado blue spruce. Has a full even habit and elegantly tiered branches that shimmer with frosty blue needles. They are so good with their with their descriptions. Hardy down to -40. What is that? Is that a zone 3? I think so. That's good. Not that I have to worry about that. We're a zone 6, but either way, it might be good for you if you live in a colder zone. So I am planning on popping that right there. We're gonna set it there and see how we feel about it. And then we're just gonna underplant with a bunch of annuals because sometimes I like to get the structural things in and then just fill in with annuals while I decide on everything else. So for that, we've got a few plain the blue salvia, which I actually thought might be good on the interior of the hydrangeas here because the hydrangeas will not be probably 3 to 6 feet tall this year. They'll stay on the smaller side. So we'll be able to see the beautiful salvia on the interior. And I also want to put some of this pink Picotee Gara in. Brings that beautiful movement and those real fairy looking flowers. And then we've got some gorgeous sparkling amethyst Superbena. Of all the Superbenas, this might be my favorite. So pretty, and I thought it would just look beautiful and bring some color into this space. I think it's gonna look good. Now, the only change I might need to make is this right here. I've got a popcorn viburnum, which we put in this spring, and oh my gosh, what a baby. It just was wilting and burning, and I think it's right at this point starting to come around and feel better about its situation. Just at the point where I might need to scoot it a little bit this way. Right here. I don't know. This one grows, 6 to 8 feet tall and wide, so these will run into each other eventually. Anyway, but I better do it now, right? Before it gets 1 really hot or before 2 it roots in anymore. And I can also clean these off. We don't need to look at these for the rest of the season, and that'll make it look better too. It's going to be a beautiful shrub, and it was beautiful when it's in bloom. But boy, some of those viburnums can be touchy when you plant them out at the beginning. Okay guys, so what I'm going to do is just lay this out and we'll get everything in the ground. All right, I think I got it figured out for now. I went ahead and brought the Gara all the way over here. It'll just be kind of this really soft, nice look right along the driveway. And that's what I ended with, like the last 15 feet or so. So this will just be a mass of beautiful Gara foliage and blooms. And then when we got closer over here, I didn't have enough of the sparkling amethyst to bring it all the way back this way, but I think it's gonna work out. So the Gara kind of goes into the center here, and then the sparkling amethyst picks up on both sides and it runs along the front of each one of the borders. And you can see that blue evergreen. Doesn't that look cute right there? I think it's perfect, really perfect. And then we can decide on more permanent stuff here later on. Like it might look kind of fun to do an arbor here and have like a little inn. Or maybe we choose something that grows a little thinner, a little taller, kind of creates a little bit more of a wall, not a super tall wall. I still want to see peeks through to this garden. We'll see. I think annuals is a great way to bridge the gap for now, but I love this blue evergreen. I think it's a really good color with the birch trees and with the hydrangeas, which will be the permanent part here. And then the plain the blue salvia, I was able to, I think I had 12 of them total. I was able to organize them to where they worked out perfectly around the birch trees on the interior of kind of the swoop of hydrangeas. And then there's just sparkling amethyst and a few Gara. Now there's no Gara on the back side, but once this stuff all fills in, you won't even see the back side. I do think I need to scoot this like 2 feet that way, or maybe like right into this space right here ish. That way it's got plenty of space. The hydrangea will have plenty of space. And I do have this spot right here for something else. I mean, the hydrangea could possibly fill it in though, so we'll leave it for now. Anyway, so we're gonna start by moving this over a bit, and then we're just going to start in with all of our planting. And the color palette's just gonna be purple, white, light pink, and lime green. It's gonna be very pretty right here, I think. And I hope this viburnum doesn't hate me too much for moving it, but we're gonna go with it. So let's get all of these in the ground. Okay, that makes me feel a little better. So the viburnum was here, moved it over a couple of feet. Now both of them have a little bit more space to breathe. Oh, I like that. And I'm almost thinking, what if I do have this one random Gara right here? What if I pop it here, thus opening up a little space right here, and I've got a purple fountain grass I could pop right here. Just that burgundy grassy texture, that would be pretty, or something like that. Now that that transplant is done, we can start it, and I'm trying really hard not to make a mess in this brand new mulch. Also, I did bring out a kneeling pad, but someone's stolen it, and now she's using it as a bed over there in the shade of that maple tree. Anyway, here we go. right, guys, it's a new day. I completely lost track of time and we had company coming over yesterday, so I had to abandon ship right before we were ready to plant the blue spruce. Got the rest of the stuff in the ground though. And being able to see just something in here last night and this morning has been so fun, especially when it fills in and we get to see a bunch of color. Oh, so we are going to pick up where we left off. We'll get the spruce in the ground. When we are done with that, we are going to go plant out all of the Dalmatian peach foxglove that we started from seed. Look at these. I mean, they're a little stressed. They could look a little bit deeper green. One, I think they need to get out of the greenhouse. Two, I probably could have fertilized them more, but you know, I'm happy with these. We started these from seed January 16th. We up potted them from their seed tray into these 4-inch containers, and I think on April the 2nd. So that is our timeline. And foxglove are a biennial plant, which means that this plant will live for 2 years. And then they seed themselves and kind of spread themselves around in the area where you plant them. So you usually, where you plant foxglove, you usually continue to have foxglove even though the mother plant dies out every 2 years. And most varieties only bloom the 2nd year of growth, but not this one. There are a few that bloom first year. This one's called Dalmatian peach. So it's a beautiful peach colored bloom. We'll see blooms this year, we'll see blooms next year. They'll create a ton of seed that we can either gather or just let it, you know, well, they'll probably spread seed even if we gather seed. They produce so much seed. It's crazy. Anyway, if I go to the trouble of starting a variety from seed, most of the time I choose the ones that will bloom the first year because, boy, playing the long game like that. I did start one variety. It was like Cafe Cream or something that bloomed 2nd year. Maybe a Sugar Plum or something. I don't know. I planted a couple that bloomed 2nd year, and it was really exciting that 2nd year to see the blooms, but most of the time I want a little bit more immediate gratification than that. We already have to wait months from the moment we plant seed to, you know, seeing blooms. Waiting a whole extra year is hard. And I didn't even count how many we have, but like this tray right here is 18. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complete trays, and then a tray I think of 10 or 12, and then a part tray right here. A couple of them didn't make it, so we've got a lot. Anyway, let's get the spruce in the ground, then we'll take a look at this area once it's like complete, and then we'll move on to the foxglove.
Well, you're putting it out and in the box.
Yeah, because I'll use this to backfill the hole.
Mama?
Yeah.
I really wish you'd make a hole for us that we could jump in.
You want to play in a hole?
Yeah, like that. Like a sock hole. Hey! Is this good?
Yep.
Well, when you put the tree in, will it not smell bad?
When I put the tree in, no, you won't be able to really smell it.
Yeah.
Oh, so see, look at this, babe. Then if I'm careful with how I dig holes, then you can just fluff that compost right back over it.
Ma, watch this.
Now it looks good.
Watch this. That tickles.
Does it tickle?
Yeah, when I do this.
Oh, that looks cute.
Try. You try.
Look at that. Isn't that so cute right there? So again, this is a Monty Blue spruce. It grows about 8 feet tall and 6 feet wide. So at maturity, I mean, that's like its 15-year size. So it might grow a little bit bigger than that, but it won't touch even the sides of this bed, which will be perfect. And we'll get the beautiful winter interest here. And I'll probably want to add more winter interest as we go along. Maybe even, I don't know, like it'd be pretty to have a red twig in here or something like that that will add to it. These will be winter interest as well, especially as the birch trees grow, the bark gets more white, and I think that will be beautiful. You know, some grasses in here. I think I talked about maybe doing a grass in there. Grasses would be beautiful winter interest as well. But I'm really happy with this spruce. I think it's perfect. So now we can go get these foxglove planted.
Yeah.
Please get there.
Here.
That is a good spot. So Samantha, if we plant them right here, they can be really tall, and then we can pick out something shorter to go in front of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about we make a circle?
Okay.
And then they can all be sorted so the big ones won't be by them.
Okay. Yep.
And so we're going to put a circle around here.
Uh-huh.
And then stop, and then you can plant them right here in these holes.
Yeah, you can see where I planted stuff last year, huh? I had a bunch of annuals in here last year.
And and then you can look back like right over here.
Yeah.
And see, you can look at them and see if they're good, and then they're gonna be gorgeous.
I think they will be gorgeous.
Yeah, and so you should try that.
Okay, perfect. I actually had planted out a bunch of Guardian White Delphinium in this space last year, and we had a heck of a time getting drip run to them, and they were so small when I planted them out, and it looks like I've got 2 left. I have one right here, which is looking gorgeous, and then one right there, and we'll just let them do their thing. But I'm thinking we just come in like Samantha explained, and we'll just plant a big old drift right here. We've also got, look at this. This is the Decadence Chocolate Baptisia. Look at how gorgeous. What do you think of this, Samantha?
Oh, that looks beautiful. Full of yellow and purple.
Yeah. Do they, you know, they call this chocolate decadence.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And Mama?
What?
Let's not plant them over here.
Okay, just over here. Got it. This is perfect because we haven't mulched over here, so I don't have to be near as careful as I was over there. I can just make all the holes quick, and then we can pop them all in. This should go pretty quickly. I need to count how many we've got, though. Okay, we've got 118. So I'm going to make 118 holes. What's the spacing on these? Maybe about a foot? That's what I'm guessing. Yep, 12-inch spacing. So we'll do roughly that. Maybe a little closer. Okay, so I made 78, I think, holes in this area, and we've got biotin starter fertilizer in there. So now we're just gonna take them out and plant them. Show you the root system on that one. Looks pretty good. Just pop them in like that. And I was thinking that the rest of them, whatever we end up with in the end, would look real pretty around the pond somewhere. So this should be pretty fast chore. Okay, look at this. We ended up with 68 over here. I don't know what I was doing with my counting, but 68 over here. That's going to be an impressive drift of foxglove. And we have plenty of space to tuck something else in right here. And then I do want to put something else more bulky right back in here. And then we'll tuck in some shorter things right in front of it. I also ran into a few containers that had not thrived. I just couldn't see them because they were all shrouded by the others. So I've got 49 left. We're going to head to the pond area because I think it would be beautiful either behind it or somewhere around it to incorporate some of those over there. We are right here by the entrance to the pond area on the east side of it, and I'm actually thinking of popping them right in here, right behind the Cupid's dart, because they're going to be a little bit more of a bulky sort of look, and they'll be taller than the Cupid's dart. So I think that would be a really pretty blend, that kind of peachy color with the blue of these blooms. Plus, it'll keep the foxglove away from the water because foxglove are toxic to pretty much everything. And while I'm not worried about putting them in my garden, like for the kids and cats and stuff, they don't mess with plants like that. Like they're not out there eating them. I don't really want to put something right next to the water that could possibly like drop seeds or leaves or whatever into the pond. So having them over here would be perfect. We've also got an Arctic Fire yellow dogwood, a random allium. I have no idea how it ended up right here. We've got a lilac. We've got a blue baptisia. We've got a little grass in here, and then chamomile, and a beautiful spruce tree, and a stump. Oh, also a katsura tree. And it's the same thing for this area in that we haven't mulched it yet. So I can just make holes, not worry about the mess, and we can get everything planted. I saved this spot for last because it was in the shade. Now the sun's gone behind a cloud. Figures. Got it done. They are gonna be so pretty back in here. I'm so excited to watch them fill in.
Which one can I water?
You can water the 2 green shrubs right there. Yeah, thank you. She really wants to be involved today. I left a little space right here because I'm thinking we need something right here. Maybe like a big boulder or something, and then we can plant some grasses around it because you do see this right from the entrance of the property, and you can really see these flower baskets that I popped in the ground. That yellow and the white just show up so beautifully. But I planted around the allium. We'll just let that do its thing, and it kind of gets thick here, gets skinnier in front of the lilac, and then it gets a little bit wider over on this side. But can you imagine all of the apricot colored, peach colored blooms? Oh, they're gonna be so pretty. Thinking I need like a red, like a 9 bark. Like repeat one of those right here. That would be beautiful. Anyway, guys, that is gonna do it for our planting today. Tons of foxglove, tons of annuals, and evergreens, some shrubs. What a great project. I love it. And I can't wait to give you updates through the season, especially because we'll get to see blooms on these foxglove this year. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.